everyone, it's Bhumika here. Today we are going to learn one of the basic concepts of computer architecture, that is branching. First of all, let us understand the definition of branching. A branch is an instruction in a computer program that can cause a computer to begin executing a different instruction sequence and thus deviate from its default behavior of executing instructions in order. We can put that in simple words as it means an instruction that tells a computer to begin executing a different part of a program rather than executing statements one by one. In a program, we have different parts, right? Rather than executing one by one or one after the other in order, we execute different parts like we execute first part, then third part, then last, then we come to second, like that. Branching is implemented as a series of control flow statements in high level language, programming languages like C. So these can include if statements, for loops, while loops, and go to statements, etc. These instructions are also called as jump instructions. These instructions are accessed through assembly programming. Hope you all know about assembly language. It is nothing but another type of notation to represent machine instruction and program. Let us look at the types of branching. A branch instruction can be either an unconditional branch or a conditional branch. What is unconditional branch then? As definition says, unconditional branch always results in branching, as there will be no condition to check. These are some unconditional branch instructions. As you can see, BTFSE stands for bit test F, skip if clear. BTFSS stands for bit test F, skip if set. Call functions, call subroutines, etc. There are some examples for unconditional branch. So, the simplest example of an unconditional branch is a method call. When a method call is reached, no test is made to evaluate the state of the object. The program execution branches immediately and unconditionally to the start of the new method. However, if you do use call on a function, the return value is discarded. As you can see in picture, when method 1 function call is encountered, the program execution branches unconditionally to the called function without any evaluation of the state of the object. And similarly, in the function method 1, there is a call for the function method 1a. This will execute unconditionally. What is conditional branching? Conditional branch may or may not cause branching depending on some condition. It updates the contents of the register only when a particular condition is satisfied. If the condition is not satisfied, it will execute next instruction in sequence. As you all know, program counter in a register which holds the address of the instruction to be executed next. For conditional branch, we have to satisfy the given condition in order to compute branching. For example, you can see in the picture, if the condition given here is tested true, then the program counter will execute the statement 4 and the statement 3. If not, the condition given here is failed, then program counter will execute the statement 2, then statement 3 and it will end. Also, depending on how it specifies the address of the new instruction sequence, there is a target address, the branch instruction is generally classified as indirect, direct, or relative, meaning that the instruction contains the target address or it specifies where the target address is to be found, for example, a register or memory location. or it specifies the difference between the current and the target addresses. Now, let us go through implementation of branching. Mechanically, a branch instruction can change the program counter of a CPU. The program counter stores the memory address of the next instruction to be executed. Therefore, a branch can cause the CPU to begin fetching its instruction from a different sequence of memory cells. When a branch is taken, the CPU's program counter is set to the argument of the jump instruction, so the next instruction becomes the instruction at the address in memory. Therefore, the flow of control changes. When a branch is not taken, the CPU's program counter is unchanged. Therefore, the next instruction executed is the instruction after the branch instruction. Therefore, the flow of control is unchanged. The term branch can be used when referring to programs in high level languages as well as the programs written in machine code or assembly language. In high level programming languages, branches usually take the form of conditional statements of various forms that encapsulates the instruction sequence that will be executed if the conditions are satisfied. Unconditional branch instructions such as go to are used to unconditionally jump to a different instruction sequence. Machine level branch instructions are sometimes called jump instructions. Machine level jump instructions typically have conditional and unconditional forms where the latter may be taken or not taken depending on some condition. Usually, there are distinct forms for one-way jumps, often called jump and subroutine invocations known as call, which automatically save the originating address as a return address on the stack, allowing a single subroutine to be invoked from multiple locations in code. In CPUs with flag registers, an earlier instruction sets a condition in a flag register. The earlier instruction may be arithmetic or a logic instruction. It is often close to the branch, though not necessarily the instruction immediately before the branch. The stored condition is then used in a branch, such as jump, if overflow flag set. This temporary information is often used in a flag register but may also be located elsewhere. A flag register design is simple in slower simple computers. In fast computers, a flag register can place a bottleneck on speed because instructions that could otherwise operate in parallel need to set the flag bits in particular sequence. There are also machines where the conditions may be checked by the jump instructions itself, such as branch if register is negative. In simple computer designs, comparison branches execute more arithmetic and can use more power than flag register branches. In fast computer branches and designs, comparison branches can run faster than flag register branches because comparison branches can access the register with more parallelism using the same CPU mechanisms as a calculation. Some early and simple CPU architectures still found in microcontrollers may not implement a conditional jump but rather only a conditional skip the next instruction operation. A conditional jump or call is thus implemented as a conditional skip of an unconditional jump or a call instruction. We will see the concept of branching by considering an example of adding a list of n numbers. We all know that the processor contains a register called program counter which holds the address of the instruction to be executed next. The address of its first instruction, which is I in our example, must be placed into the PC. Then the processor control circuits use the information in the PC to fetch and execute instruction one at a time in the order of increasing addresses. During the execution, of each instruction, the PC is incremented by 4 to point to the next instruction. Thus, after the move instruction at location I plus 8 is executed, the PC contains the value I plus 12, which is the address of the first instruction of the next program segment. In our example, the addresses of the memory location containing the n numbers are symbolically given as num1, num2, num3, so on up to num and a separate add instruction is used to add each instruction number to the contents of register RO. After all the numbers have been added, the result is placed in memory location sum. Instead of using a long list of add instructions, it is possible to place a single add instruction in a program loop as shown in figure. The loop is a straight line sequence of instruction executed as many times as needed. It starts at location loop and ends at the instruction branch greater than 0. During each pass through this loop, the address of the next list entry is determined and that entry is fetched and added to RO. The address of an operand can be specified in various ways. Here we see the same program written using loops. Assume that the number of entries in the list n is stored in memory location n. Register R1 is used as a counter to determine the number of times the loop is executed. Hence, the contents of location n are loaded into the register R1 at the beginning of the program. Then, within the body of the loop, the instruction decrement R1 reduces the contents of R1 by 1 each time through the loop. A similar type of operation is performed by an increment instruction which adds 1 to its operand. Execution of the loop is repeated as long as the result of the decrement operation is greater than 0. Now we shall see branch instructions. Branch instructions loads a new value into the program counter. As a result, the processor fetches and executes the instructions at this new address called the branch target, instead of the instruction at the location that follows the branch instruction in sequential address order. A conditional branch instruction causes a branch only if a specified condition is satisfied. If the condition is not satisfied, the program counter is incremented in the normal way and the next instruction in sequential address order is fetched and executed. From the figure, the instruction branch if greater than 0 is a conditional branch instruction that causes a branch to location loop if the result of the immediately preceding instruction, which is the decremented value in register R1, is greater than 0. This means that the loop is repeated as long as there are entries in the list that are yet to be added to R0. At the end of the nth pass through the loop, the decrement instruction produces a value of 0 and hence branching does not occur. Instead, the move instruction is fetched and executed. It moves the final result from R0 into the memory location sum. Let us see what are the advantages of branching. Why branching is needed. We all know that an advantage of a computer over a calculator is its ability to make decisions. A computer performs different tasks depending on conditions. A branch instructions modify the program counter PC to skip over sections of code or to go back to repeat the previous code. Thus, branching makes the task to go easier. We can check and execute different tasks at one time with the help of branching. This is the main advantage. The capability to test conditions and subsequently choose one of a set of alternative ways to continue computation has many more applications than just loop control. Such a capability is found in the instruction sets of all computers and is fundamental to the programming of most non trivial tasks. There are performance problems with branch instructions also. A branch instruction is not inherently slower than any other instruction, so when this happens, the CPU has to stall until the decision has been resolved and throws away everything in the pipeline that's behind the branch instruction. Hope you all know about pipelining. It is nothing but a technique where a multiple instructions are overlapped during execution. Pipeline is divided into stages and these stages are connected with one another to form pipeline structure. Instructions enter from one end and the exit from another end. Pipelining increases the overall instruction throughput. So as you can see in picture, there are clock cycles, waiting instructions and completed instruction and the pipeline which contains that stages fetch, decode, execute, write back. While executing these stages, that is fetch, decode, execute and write back, the behind the instructions has to wait until the decision has been resolved. So this lowers utilization and therefore performance. So what are the solutions for the performance problems with branch instructions? Several techniques improve speed by reducing stalls from conditional branches. We will see some of them in brief. Branch prediction hints. Historically, branch prediction took statistics and used the result to optimize code. A programmer would compile a test version of a program and run it with test data. The test code counted how the branches were actually taken. The statistics from the test code were then used by the compiler to optimize the branches of released code. The optimization would arrange that the fastest branch direction taken or not would always be the most frequently taken control flow path. To permit this, CPUs must be designed with predictable branch timing. Some CPUs have instruction sets that were designed with branch hints so that a compiler can tell a CPU how each branch is to be taken. The problems with software branch prediction is that it requires a complex software development process. Next is hardware branch predictors. To run any software, hardware branch predictors move the statistics into the electronics. Branch predictors are parts of a processor that guess the outcome of a conditional branch. Then the processor's logic gambles on the guess by beginning to execute the expected instruction flow. An example of a simple branch prediction scheme is to assume that all backward branches, that is to a smaller program counter, are taken because they are part of a loop, and all forward branches to a larger program counter are not taken because they have a loop. Better branch predictors are developed and validated statistically by running them in simulation on a variety of test programs. Good predictors usually count the outcomes of previous executions of a branch. Faster, more expensive computers can run them faster by investing in better branch prediction electronics. In a CPU with hardware branch prediction, branch hints let the compiler's presumably superior branch prediction override the hardware's more simplistic branch prediction. Branch-free code is another technique. Some logic can be written without branches or with fewer branches. It is often possible to use bitwise operations, conditional moves, or another predications instead of branches. In fact, branch-free code is a must for cryptography due to timing attacks. Delay slot. Another technique is a delay slot. In this approach, one instruction after a branch is always executed. Therefore, the computer can use this instruction to do useful work whether or not its pipeline stalls. This approach was historically popular in RISC computers, that is, Reduced instruction set computers. In a family of compatible CPUs, it complicates multi-cycle CPUs, that is, with no pipeline, faster CPUs with longer than expected pipelines, and superscalar CPUs which can execute instructions out of order.